Education, your government announced some major changes to the education portfolio today, including funding and sense of curriculum and content for students.
It's a massive change that we're doing. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, the sex ed curriculum. It's actually the health and physical education. There were a lot of fears from people on what we were going to do with it. There was a lot of concerns that we were going to roll back to the 40s and the 50s on it. And I think that this is a fabulous approach that we've done. We've introduced some new concepts that weren't in the previous curriculum, some things that did make the media, but they made the media in the wrong way. Consent was never taught in elementary school in any previous curriculum. We're bringing consent now in as a mandatory subject to talk about. Not just consent, but also boundaries. And how do you set boundaries with it? And we're going all the way down to the primary grades with it to introduce it, because it's something that those kids need to know about. Online safety. No previous curriculum ever dealt with online safety, not just luring, but online safety in general. And we're starting it at grade 1, because kids are plugged into the internet that young now, and they need to have that type of an education. Family and healthy relationships has never been taught in the elementary panel before, and that's something that we're going to introduce. Now, there will be fears.
Is there going to be a parent's guide to this? So little student goes to school, comes back, talks about it at dinner. How do we help those parents have that conversation?
There is a parent's guide that will be available online. If you go to edu.gov.on.ca/curriculum, it will be there. And parents will be able to opt out. Parents will get notice of when the health and physical education program or curriculum is going to be taught, and parents can opt out of it. All the way through, we're taking a different approach to it. We're introducing concepts at the appropriate ages. Some of the curriculum that was there previously, it's still there, but it's being shifted as to when it's being introduced, so that somebody at 6 or 7 years old who isn't mature enough to deal with it isn't being introduced to it in a way that's going to cause more problems for them. It'll be brought to them at a later stage when they're a little bit older, 9 or 10.
What about the tolerance, diversity conversation in terms of lifestyles that ultimately kids see?
That's all rolled in with healthy relationships.
Okay.
And it's not just the 1950s nuclear family. It's 2 moms, 2 dads, single parent, 2 parents, grandparents looking after kids. We've tried to encompass every type of family or family dynamic that there is in this province, and make sure that everyone is introduced to that.
Yeah. At the same time, the Education Minister and Social Service Minister Lisa MacLeod have come under fire for changes to the autism funding, program deployment, access, capping, and all those kinds of things.
Yes.
I saw a press conference organized by some of the proponents of no change or additional investments. Pretty cogent argument. How do we balance where we need to go versus, obviously there's some strong opinions out there?
There are, and part of that is tied into the education side of it now as well. Lisa Thompson talked about it this past Tuesday. $12,300 per autistic student will be given to the school boards for them to work with the students, so that they're not in a position where those kids are being sent home because they're difficult. School boards are going to be given the resources that they need to be working with those students at the school level. The way that the old system was set up, we had 75% of the kids who were on a wait list, and the wait list was 10 to 12 years. So they were going to age out before they ever got any support. I'm not in a position where I think I can say only 25% of you are going to get something, and 75% I'm turning my back on you. I don't think that's, I couldn't do that. I couldn't stand in the mirror and look at myself and say I'm going to leave 75% of those kids behind.